Hi there, welcome to CecilRhodes, the platform where we speak truth to power. You're looking at the picture of CecilRhodes. I'm going to read some words to you about how we said things. His view was that black people needed to be driven off their land to stimulate them to labor and to change their habits. It must be brought upon them, brought on them that in future 9/10 of them will not will have to spend their lives in manual labor, and the sooner that that is brought home to them, the better. This is a man, and as you can see the picture on there, the picture shows he is buried in on a mountain that is in a country that is now known as Zimbabwe. So for a man that clearly detests the very black people that was on the land that he came to take from them, the Land Reform Act of 1892, I think it is, that he did, took land away from Africans. Europeans now own, at the time, Europeans owned 90%. He transferred the land over, the land rights to 90% of the land in South Africa, for example. He put it in the hands of 8% of the population, who were the settlers, the colonials that came in. And 90%, those who owned the land became, they couldn't buy any land in their own land, in their own country. So I believe it is time for us to now look at this issue of CecilRhodes. He should not be having any space on the African continent, because his words are, and I state that people need to that black people should be driven off our land. We should be driven off our land. And to have him on the African continent in anywhere is to allow for the continuation of this colonization of the continent. It is terribly wrong. He does not deserve to be on the African continent. He facilitated the exploitation, the continued looting that is going on today on the African continent. How do you see this? That man there that you see in the picture, that's him in the grave, CecilRhodes. He caused untold hardship, death, destruction, exploitation, loss of our land. As I speak to you right now, the land, 72% of South African land is still in the hands of the settlers that he represents. That's the reality of it. People don't want to say this, but we need to speak those truths to power. And the man that says that all black should be chased, should be driven off their land, who gave him that right? I think it's time for us now to really come out with a plan collectively across the whole of Africa to call for the return of his to extradition of his body and everything he represents back to his ancestral land in the UK. He cannot be among Africans. He cannot be allowed to lie on the continent of Africa with those views still intact. He must be sent back. That is my opinion, and that's what many of us should know. Many people are not aware of this. Again, I'll read it to you. It says, his view was that black people needed to be driven off their land, stimulate them to labor, and that it should be brought home to them that in future 9/10 of them will spend their lives in manual labor. So he is not from Africa and is deciding the future of Africans on the African continent. I don't know how you see this. This is totally unacceptable. This is something we need to really be very, very clear. We should not allow to be something that is on the African continent. And as a symbol of our rejection, he should be sent back to the UK and buried in the UK. Send him back to where he came from. He has zero claim on any part of the African continent. Talk less of being buried there. And he must be exhumed and sent back. Because this kind of views that you're seeing on the screen, and the fact that 72% of South African land is still in the hands of foreigners, it is terribly unacceptable. How do you see this? What are your thoughts on this? You, of course, listening to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth about later on. Let us have your views. Leave comments. This guy, he needs to go, in my opinion. He needs to be exhumed and sent back to where he came from because he stole land. He stole land. He denied people their land. I'll be back later on. Bye for now.